Hi, everyone. We are going to have a masterclass with Tricia that I'm happy to present to all of you. She's a very dear colleague that I have the opportunity to work with the past year and has been amazing. So I hope that you enjoy as much as I do working with her. Patricia Lustig, she has over 30 years in foresight and future thinking, and she is currently the Emeritus Director of the APF Emerging Fellows Program and also an author.
I will take over. If we can take the first slide, that would be really great.
Perfect.
I have indeed worked with Abril for a few years on the board of the APF. And I am a pragmatic optimist. So I'm optimistic. I'm curious. Being a pragmatic optimist means you have to be curious. And my favorite question is, what else? This means that in my work, I'm always looking for opportunities, opportunities being good things and optimistic. It doesn't matter what it is that's happening, there will always be good things happening. So my work together with my co-author, Jill Ringland, over the last few decades has been about developing thinking tools and frameworks. And you may have seen that we have developed a tool for our new book, The Possibility Wheel, but that's not what we're talking about today. I will share an important concept that we developed along the way as we were doing research about how to build this tool and what would be important. So we started out because we realized that what was really important was resilience. And resilience is important to futurists because our world is not just reliant on interdependent systems, but we're all interconnected and related, and nothing operates without affecting other things. So an important role of futurists is to help society anticipate events and changes due to ongoing trends and the threats we face. So resilience is defined as a system is resilient if the system or society can recover within a specified time period after an event or due to ongoing trends. The work of futurists can improve resilience through anticipation when that leads to action. So our agenda today is we'll talk about the context. It's important what's happening around us. And that's what we had to look at first before we uncovered what we call backbones. And then we'll talk about what are backbones and how they can help you. We'll give examples of different kinds of backbones. And then we'll look at specific examples of fractured backbones, ones that are breaking, and evolving backbones, ones that are working. Then we'll have quick questions to make sure you understand what backbones are. So the context is that there are many global threats occurring today. We looked at many of them and decided to concentrate on three that we thought were the most important and the most global. Global heating, breakdown in international relations. When we started writing, it wasn't quite this bad. And collapse of global health. So what? We noticed in those three that there was something that was kind of a thread that went through all of them. There was something stopping people from managing and eliminating the threats. And we noticed that these were all global. We noticed that they manifested differently according to where people lived. In other words, the effects are local. They affect everyone. Nobody goes without knowing about these things, even if they may deny them. And they need a global response. A national response isn't going to do it. So what can we do? Yeah. We decided that those things would be called backbones, and that the way to address some of these global issues and issues also within organizations, countries, between countries, people, is that we depend on rules about the way things work. That's what we call backbones. And the issue is that they need to evolve over time to continue to be fit for purpose because everything changes all the time. And many of these are now fracturing. This is a definition from the book. A backbone is a set of rules which are shared, agreed, and support the way that things work. They're developed to make things work. Backbones can be explicit, as in being based upon the rule of law, or they can be implicit, being based upon assumptions about the way we do things around here. You get that kind of backbone in organizations a lot. Societies design backbones to enable their particular society to work well and to be effective. Backbones cover many aspects of life, such as financial services, governance, health, international, technical, and professional standards. And they're all based upon agreements or assumptions that everybody who's working with them relies upon in order to get things done effectively. So here's some examples of backbones. The UN and other post-World War international organizations. So there's things like the World Bank and IMB and things like that. They're all backbones. Currency exchange platforms, ISO standards for technology, the rule of law. I would like to remind people that the rule of law is not, there isn't one. It's what we agree, and different places can have different rules of law, and that's fantastic. That's fine. It's what we agree on. And the final one is the Montreal Protocol. So today, we mentioned backbones need to evolve over time. They need to be maintained. They're just like hard infrastructure, like bridges and things. They need to be maintained. They're soft infrastructure, but you get the idea, I think. And effective backbones can help the world overcome its challenges. And it's the only way that we work well together and effectively. So first of all, we're going to talk about a fractured backbone. I realize this is a US one, but I think it affects everyone here. And I have a lot more information if you want it. Uh, this is called the Thursday Night Massacre or the Valentine's Day 7. So what happened was the Southern District, New York, acting U.S. attorney who had been just appointed by President Trump was ordered to dismiss charges against the New York mayor. So they had already issued charges, which they only do in the case that it is, they're pretty sure of getting conviction. So this U.S. attorney went back to one of her bosses and said, hey, would you tell me, please, what this dismissal is based upon? And he said, this is not based on evidence or legal theories. It's not based on facts or law. So she said she could not comply as it would violate her oath of office. Upon which seven Department of Justice attorneys resigned. They finally found somebody. I mean, the deal was they kept going down the line, and then they had 20, and they said, "You're all going in a room. You have an hour. If somebody doesn't do this, we're firing all of you." And somebody did. There were four vice mayors who also resigned. So this is the rule of law is fracturing, and these are people who stood up for it. Okay, the next one is one that worked. It's the Montreal Protocol. And if you don't know what that is, that's the one that talks about the ozone layer. We had an ozone hole, and it was back, I think, let me find my notes. It was in the 80s or the 90s. 87. It was a common area of concern, so people got together, actions were agreed, and the world organized to tackle them. It has been ratified by all member states of the UN, 197 countries, and the EU. And it has been adapted a couple of times. They've made some amendments. As time goes on, they were keeping it going, they were maintaining it. And it's been successful in phasing out ozone depleting substances to such an extent that the ozone layer is recovering and should return to 1980 levels by the middle of the century, very soon.
Thank you very much, dear Patricia. It was a pleasure to have you, and I really hope we can continue this thrilling conversation in the near future, because now in this convulsed world more than ever, we need to have this kind of deep conversation. So thanks to you, Jonathan and David, for joining us and bringing all this amazing framework. Abril.
Yes, thank you so much, Trisha. It's always a pleasure to hear you and learn from you. And I hope that all of you can have a little bit of the amazing work that Trisha does. And thank you, Carla, for inviting me as well. And David and Jonathan for being here as well and contributing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.